Hi, I'm Mona Akiki, and I'm the Chief People Officer at Perkbox. Well, I think, simply put, an open and honest culture, it builds trust, not only amongst colleagues, but also amongst the organization and its employees. And you really need that to have a collaborative culture and for people to be engaged and want to do their best. One of the biggest myths, maybe, out there is that if you have an open and honest culture, then everybody's in agreement, everything's quite peaceful. But in fact, it's actually quite the opposite. So from the outside, it probably looks like individuals are, comfortable enough to express themselves, but that also means healthy debate. It means that colleagues are challenging one another, and there's likely to be lots of disagreement. But the important aspect of that culture is that different views are heard, and people feel secure enough to kind of air out whatever they have on their mind, and that it's okay to disagree with your colleagues. Also, people in those types of organizations, ultimately, they care about its success, but they also care about the success of their colleagues. And so giving feedback, they do it kind of, it becomes part of their everyday. And they do it with really the sole intent that it helps others to succeed. It helps the organization to succeed. People also tend to give each other the benefit of the doubt or give the organization the benefit of the doubt. They're giving feedback because they mean for it to be helpful. They're giving feedback because they believe that everyone wants to improve what they do and how they do things. And so on this, in the same, I guess, way, the people who receive feedback are seeing it as a gift. Whether or not they agree or disagree is a completely different thing, but they do see it as something that's good and coming from the right place. It doesn't necessarily mean, though, that everyone is going to get what they want. What it means is that the decision makers and the people who are ultimately accountable for those decisions, they're well informed and they're capable of making the best decision for that time because they have all of that information. What they fail with is an innovation, because diversity of thought, feeling comfortable to state what's on your mind, without any sense of feeling ridiculed or anything like that, actually just encourages new ideas. It encourages innovation. And so if you don't have that culture, you're not going to do much to change anything. You're kind of just repeating the same old thing over and over, because you're not listening to people, people aren't speaking, all of that stuff. It sometimes takes time to build trust, and we forget that at work, sometimes, because you need to really not only build trust, but the sense of safety that you have, where you can actually say what you want to. And as individuals, we forget that we need to exemplify those behaviors so that people act that way with us. The toughest part is to really listen to kind of what people are saying. And sometimes we've, put out their strategy, we've said something, and no one's complaining, that we falsely believe that silence is a sense of contentment or agreement, and it's not. Leaders and businesses need to really create a culture where people feel engaged to discuss things. And so you have to create avenues for that, forums where people can come together, question things, talk about things, give their opinions. And really, when people stop giving you a difficult time and or challenging you, that's when you know that something's wrong. The biggest challenge is believing that silence just means that everything's going well. It really is just about creating that forum for people to speak up, creating something that works for your culture, but where people feel comfortable to air things out. And if you find they're not asking the tough questions, then try a different strategy, because employees, are at the heart of the business. They know what's happening, and they're experiencing kind of the day-to-day pain and successes. So you need to know about those.